all those who are present with us here tonight. I must acknowledge Sister Betty Hannah because she is the one who researched this history for us. Queen Adah Grand Chapter, oh yes, 1943 to 1993. And Sister Hamilton chose for her subject, looking back and moving forward. Queen Adah Grand Chapter, all of the Eastern Star Incorporated, working under the most wonderful sons of light Grand Lodge, AF and AM, and Incorporated, Honorable Joseph S.P. Grand Master. Queen Adah Grand Chapter was organized with 3 chapters. Queen Ethiopia, number 20. Lilies of the Valley, number 12, both of San Francisco. And Pride of Oakland, number 17 of Oakland, California. She worked untiringly for Queen Adah Grand Chapter for 22 years. And then untiringly for the time of her death in 1965, Queen Adah had grown to 125 chapters in California and Nevada, with a membership of 4,000, and a youth fraternity organized in 1958 had grown to 400 members. She also set up all the high degree houses, Grand Nurses Home, Grand Queen of the South Palace, and Grand Mason Council. Under her direction, Queen Adah Choir was organized and a scholarship fund established. Sister P also purchased property for Queen Adah at Solar Street, an apartment building at Scott and Page Street, a youth center at Post Street, and the California Scottish Rite Temple at Gary Street. This was also in San Francisco. Sister P's last accomplishment was to incorporate Queen Adah Grand Chapter with the state of California on June 29, 1951. The Master said, "You are known by the work you do." And for Queen Adah Grand Chapter, the work continued under the leadership of our second Grand Mason, Sister Thelma Scott, who's mindful of the housing needs of all the citizenry within their ranges of financial capacities and social needs, laid the groundwork for Queen Adah Grand Chapter to purchase land to build 142 home housing and urban development, subsidized housing units for low-income students, also a home for Queen Adah Grand Chapter, with 8 meeting rooms, 5 retail stores, underground parking for 100 cars, a banquet hall seating 1,500, dining room facilities, and the latest in electric kitchen appliances. The building named Royal Adah Arms was dedicated on Sunday, June 9, 1974. After Sister Scott's death in 1979, Sister Grace L. Harley became the 3rd Grand Matron of Queen Adah Grand Chapter, a dedicated and sincere Eastern Star. Sister Harvey is still performing all the duties fraternal to her office to continue the fraternal work of Sister Grace P., Sister Thelma Scott, and others who made the path easier for those that would follow them by enacting laws in which to govern the body. Because Queen Adah is incorporated and because of our outstanding track record in sponsoring and monitoring Royal Adah Arms, has an estimated value of $14 million. In April 1990, we were asked by HUD to take over the sponsorship of Harriet Tubman Terrace, a 91-unit senior facility in Berkeley, California, valued at $10 million. Today, as in the past, Queen Adah is still reaching out in the community, performing charitable deeds
Master, Grand Matron, all of the dignitaries on the roster up here. You know, it's a great honor for you to bestowed on me. An individual that's only been in this jurisdiction 42 years. To be able to look back and read some of the history of this Grand Lodge and see from whence it came. I'll begin by saying to everything there is a beginning. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was a shapeless mess, and the whole earth was in darkness, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And the whole earth was in darkness, and God said, "Let there be light." I said, and there was light. And on the sixth day of the creation, God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have domain over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." In the year of 1942, there was another great creation, the most wishful sons of light, Grand Lodge, AF and AM Incorporated. It was set up by three subordinate lodges under warrants. These three lodges were Rising Star Lodge, number 412, Orange Grove Lodge, number 138, and Sons of Light Lodge, number 444. The Honorable Joseph Samuel Nathaniel Pugh, 33rd, was elected as the first Grand Master. The most wishful Sons of Light Grand Lodge was organized in the year of 1942 at the Washington Hotel, 652 4th Street, on the second floor, room 12, at the corner of Jackson Street in San Francisco, California. The first headquarters 1844, Brother W.H. Wilson was elected as Deputy Grand Master, and Brother J.B. Kern was elected as Grand Secretary. Mr. Henry Berry, in the year of 1944, placed his membership in the Sons of Rice Grand Lodge, Fort number 444. He was the founder and owner of one of the largest department stores in San Francisco that was owned by blacks. It was located at 1806 7th Street. He was well known as one of the outstanding black men in San Francisco. During the time when Grand Master Pugh was traveling throughout the state, setting up and organizing Masonic lodges and Eastern Star chapters, he appointed Brother James D. Burke as his special deputy, whom he chose to help him do his work in his traveling throughout the state. Brother Burke was also known as Grand Master Pugh's chauffeur. After much hard work and many sleepless nights, Master Pugh continued to build, laying the foundation for this jurisdiction. Many things were did that is not being mentioned. Pugh served the office of Grand Master for 24 years. Many times he would often speak these words: "According to the grace of God given unto me as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation and another buildeth thereon. But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon. For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Christ Jesus." The Grand Lodge office was located from 1720 Fillmore Street to 848 Cole Street. At this time, Brother A.D. LeBeau was Grand Secretary. After Brother LeBeau resigned as Grand Secretary, Brother Booker T. Brooks was appointed to serve as Grand Secretary and later elected to that office. The Grand Lodge office was relocated from 848 Cole Street to 1837 Alcatraz in Berkeley, California. This building at 1837 Alcatraz was purchased by the most Worcester Sons of Light Grand Lodge. Following, Brother Booker T. Brooks and Brother Nelson H. Garnett was elected as Grand Secretary. Following Brother Nelson H. Garnett, Brother Alfred Lewis was elected as Grand Secretary. Following Brother Alfred Lewis, after his death, Brother Richard Belton was appointed. At the next election in 1990, he was elected as Grand Secretary, who is still serving in that office at the present time. In the year of 1966, in the city of Las Vegas, state of Nevada, at our annual grand session, the Honorable Frank J. Bobo was elected Grand Master of the most Worcester Sons of Light Grand Lodge. Many of us call him things Grand Master Bobo did for this jurisdiction that is not mentioned. We often hear him say, "I hear and I don't hear. I see and I don't see." Let the water seek its own level. Stay in your place and measure your time. That's what it says. In the year of 1990, the Honorable William Berry was elected Grand Master of the most Worcester Sons of Light Grand Lodge. He served as Grand Master 13 months and 19 days. It was Grand Master Berry who removed Brother James D. Burke out of the office of Grand Patron. He was the one who set the 50th year celebration. Grand Master Watkins is one man with a vision.
Excuse the poor tracking.
His motto is, "We are in a new day. We must work together to make this a better jurisdiction."